Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Market Mamas. So today we have one of my very favorite people here, and it's not just because he seriously is instrumental in leading me to my most profitable year in trading so far. It's more than the money. So welcome, Jermaine, back to Market Mamas. We're really glad you're here because your wealth of knowledge and experience as a trader is really valuable. So we're very excited to get into your brain a little bit. So thanks for coming today and discussing all things trading.
Pleasure to be here with you and Kenja, Becky. It's really a pleasure. I love the work you guys are putting out. Really, it's my favorite YouTube channel. So thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate your support and all your comments, and so great to have you again on with us. So you are a futures day trader. For those of you who hadn't seen the prior episodes featuring Jermaine, you operate a trading community as well, and you began teaching and mentoring student traders about 8 years, I believe, after your own trading journey. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so I've been trading about 8 years. I started teaching about 2022, is it? 2022. Yeah, so not too far into teaching. I thought I was just gonna, ride off on a white horse and just trade on my own, but giving back is something that I found a new love for, new passion for. So yeah, it's pretty good to have good people around in the community and watch, to see how we lean on each other and develop as traders.
I really love that. That sounds very rewarding, and just to have that kind of impact and be able to share with all your community. Do you, can you give me an idea from all your experience mentoring this far, what's the most common tendency that you have found in traders who have not yet reached consistency?
There's a lot of common tendencies. So
maybe just the top. I know it's very nuanced for everyone, for sure.
Yeah, first of all, there's so many common ones because we're all human beings, right? And we all struggle the same way. Some of us are just stronger. Our willpower is much stronger. But I would say overtrading is a bad boy, okay? Overtrading is one of the killers that I see among traders that are developing. And that comes from our wiring. Hey, you work hard, you make more money, right? So I understand why that is so hard. I do think that lack of process, okay? The lack of having a process, because most of us will take a look at the markets and we'll try to wing it, okay? And that could be some kind of emotional ups and downs going on internally, but we're not so focused on our process. Most people, they don't even have a real edge. They haven't really back tested that edge to the extent where they understand that, hey, I'm going to lose about 40% throughout the next year or so with this strategy, but it's a green year nevertheless. So if you have that data, there's no reason for you to fight the market when you get a losing day, right? And they don't have the understanding of that. And that leads me to the next one, probabilities, the mindset that this is all probabilities, okay? If you dumb down trading to the dumbest form, you'll see that you can still be a profitable trader. You don't have to have the most fancy strategy out there. You just have to understand that mindset, okay? So lack of understanding based on probabilities, lack of process, and I would say emotional management. Emotional management is a big deal. Okay, and that's just the surface of that. There's a lot more I could say, but those are really the top ones.
Yeah, I feel like we totally can. That resonates with us because we've experienced all of those hurdles as messy middle traders, and we're still working through them to different degrees on different days. And so that's a solid list. I actually quoted you because you talk to us all the time. I quoted you in our Peace with Your Peace episode because you do advise us all the time of if you get up an hour before market open and you plan your trade and you really focus and you look at all your data and you feel ready and sharp, and then you take your first trade, win or loss, that was your best whole body brain setup where you were focused and quiet and peaceful. And then from then on, it sort of deteriorates, right? The brain fatigues and you start to tune out certain bits of data that you wouldn't normally, and it's not a part of your process. And so you start to slack. At least that's as I think that you have been teaching us, and that's what I think I noticed in myself, is that I am not optimal all day long, especially if I stay to my chart. Sometimes I can trade open and then come back and trade close and still be pretty sharp for both. But like, that's a bit of it, right? Is that middle part of the day when you just are, you're starting to miss stuff, don't you think?
Exactly. I
Yeah.
always use the whole thing that we are professional athletes, right? Right. This is a high performance sport, and you never see Usain Bolt running 100 meter and then a 200 meter right after. It's not possible.
Yeah.
You know. And me personally, as I always share with you guys, if I take a trade in the morning and I book my daily income and I sit around the computer, I will trade. I'm not like Superman or anything. I will find a trade. Okay. There are some times when I'm in the zone though, and I think I did a recording for you guys recently when I was like in the zone. You can feel it. You do your like emotional checklist. You know that you're good. You can perform well today. Probably got an added hour sleep. You feel very strong and energized. And I think I took about 8-9 trades in that video that I did for you guys. But that's not me every day, right? That's not me every day. And I want to make sure that I'm at the highest level when I'm performing. If not, everything is a gamble. I don't care if the setup is good. I'm not good. I'm not 100%.
That totally makes sense to me. I feel like almost it's like the longer you expose yourself, the more, your walls kind of start to come down, and you potentially are going to maybe start convincing yourself of things that, aren't really there, or, trading expectation, forcing a bias, getting too involved in how the day's going to play out instead of being able to just sit back and kind of, I feel like when I've had days when I have been like got sucked in and overtraded and like just continued, like didn't walk away, it's very different than if I, had some solid trades in the morning and then like went on with my day, and then maybe I had some extra time and I looked back and I actually saw an opportunity and looked at with all the new data we had throughout the day. Then it's like, okay, great. You have a real opportunity, you have it set up, like you can check that box. But it's very different than just, being stuck at your screen all day. And I know it's going to do this today. And, I have this beautiful trade plan and it's going to play out. And oftentimes, it might, but not on the time that you're in front of your screen.
Yes, exactly. My best trading days are when I'm on my couch watching my TV, watching the screens on my TV. I'm away from it and I can see it much better. All right. I don't have that tunnel vision, because the minute you start to have tunnel vision, you're already in fight or flight mode, whether you know that or not. Okay.
Yeah, you get a little bit more intense, a little more urgency with it, and you're like hunting for your trade instead of letting it present and then seeing it for what it is when it comes. Like I don't watch on my TV because I'm not that fancy, but I watch on my phone, like sometimes when I'm off with the kids or in the backyard or something. And then even then it's like you're not in the pressured situation of you're next to your mouse where you can hit buy or sell. And so it just takes some of the pressure off, where you can see it more clearly and be more open to what it's showing, more curious instead of more hunting.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I thought about something this morning. I said to myself, patience is so important in trading. Yet the minute the bell goes off, you want to hit buy or sell. But if you were working for someone, you would have to wait every 2 weeks to get paid. So the market just opened for 5 minutes and you want to get paid now.
Yeah.
Right? I just thought about it this morning.
That's a really good point.
I'm like, man, the expectations are so unrealistic with trading.
They really are. I was just talking with another trader about this idea of like when you have some really strong momentum going and, you having some solid weeks, and then that when you do have that intuition of like, these conditions aren't great today. I'm not having, I'm not having a real setup, but it's like you got so programmed into, every day I'm coming in, I'm executing well, I'm getting my points, I'm doing great. And so that becomes like you think that's the standard, and it's like, it's really not. You have to always come in open to whatever may happen, and be able to accept if you shouldn't be participating, or if it's just not a great, conditions, you don't have your setup. You have to have that ability to not internalize that need for that expectation of yourself, of the markets. And so that's hard.
Experience will help you with that. Like this morning, we looked at the market. I could tell that ES was not going to be the day today. Okay, and after a while, you have to live and learn. Don't just show up just to click buy or sell. Understand what you're dealing with.
Hey, I won on ES today. Don't talk badly about my baby. All right. So speaking of this, what are some of your top personal trading rules or parameters that you personally have put in place that you have to have before you execute?
When it comes to entry criteria,
Yes.
well,
Not necessarily the technicals, but more like your setup for approaching your trading day. Like what has to be in place in your life in order to execute that day?
Oh, first of all, I have to do a full body scan. I have to scan my entire being to make sure that I'm fully able to execute. If I can't do some kind of emotional check internally, I'm not going to be okay trading. I could be tired, but I'll do that scan, that scan from my head to my toes, and understand how I'm feeling, if there's any tension. Even if I didn't meditate, let's say I didn't get a chance to meditate and I see something shaping up, I always do my scan, emotional scan first. Okay?
Yeah.
Breath work is very important. That's something that even while the trade is setting up, before it gets to the level that I want, I'm taking deep breaths. Even when I'm recording myself trading, Becky, you can hear me taking deep breaths. Like I practice that so much, and it really helps to calm me down and just keep me grounded. So those things have to be really on point before I hit my trade, take the trade or something.
I love that.
Right? So it's all about me. It's not about the charts anymore. It's all about me. What's going on with me before I can take this trade.
So being very mindful, always aware of who's showing up, who's present in the moment. That's really powerful.
Risk. Yes,
Yeah.
and I don't know if that's a part of it, but risk is very important. So I'm always thinking, how much am I going to lose? Right? I don't really think about how much am I going to win. Right? I'm always thinking about, okay, what am I going to risk in this trade? How much am I willing to lose? Can I walk away? Will this trigger me? And do it. And it's a part of the emotional checklist.
Yeah, it makes me think of when you're talking about body inventory. Like the main two things for me are like how distracted am I and how much am I able to like focus and accept the risk. Because like if you're really distracted about this other thing, but you're trying to be here, and you could recognize that your head is not in the game. Like that's probably the biggest trigger to pull yourself away.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there are times when I'll do the checklist and something is off, and I'm not going to lie, I'm a human being. Sometimes I'll risk it and I'll get burned, or sometimes I'll risk it and I'll win, but I try not to practice that as much as I humanly possibly can.
I think that you are the best example that I know of someone who can stay really chill and calm and purposeful at your charts. And that is something that I'm really striving for, because I can be a little bit extra sometimes, and like I really love trading and I like the volatility at open because I'm getting pretty good at the opening trades. But I know like something that I need to do is really be careful and selective and purposeful, and you've done some coaching with me on exact entry criteria to help me with that. So like to someone like me who sometimes jumps before all the ducks are in a row, like what do you say to me to like make me wait? Like what's your best advice in that situation for someone who's a little bit ahead of the game sometimes?
I think alerts are our employees. I look at alerts as some kind of employee in your business, right? If I hire you, put you around my desk and say, hey, Becky, take a look at this screen. When the market gets to this level, give me a call. Okay? There's no reason why I should come back and check on you and say, hey, Becky, did the price get there yet? Did the price get there yet? Right? So this removing yourself from the charts is a big deal. Find something else to do. Our lives revolve around trading, but we shouldn't have it revolve around trading every day, right? Find something else that you like. Set an alert somewhere, okay, that you know that, hey, this is a good area of interest. Go do something else. And if it doesn't get there, you don't have a trade, right? I think that's a big thing. So we need to look at alerts as our employees, and we're running a business here. Okay. Another thing is I could play some. Or you could play your favorite music and get into a mindset that you're happy. You're not tense. Your physiology is kind of relaxed, right? Find a nice album, something that relaxes you, right? Maybe you like meditation music in the background. Maybe you like jazz. Find out something that you like. It's not all about the charts, because really and truly, it's really all about you that's sitting in front of it. What's going on with you? How do I feel? Because you could get into a winning trade and it turns out to be a loser because you're not sharp emotionally, you're off, you're distracted. Okay? And this is another big thing. How can you maintain that focus? What are you doing to make sure that you're sharp with your focus? Because in a world like today, you grab everything. Okay? Everything that comes through your mind, it now is your reality. And we have to kind of understand that, hey, while I'm sitting here waiting for this trade, a lot of things is going to show up, but I'm going to do something that I like to soothe me. Okay?
I really love that tip. I focus for me also, Becky, can be challenging, and just that staying in tune. And what I've noticed is my best trading is when I honor one of my parameters I try to honor is I want to be constantly taking live notes, like even if it's every 5 minutes, like updating like market context, like my critical levels, how I'm feeling, what I'm waiting on, what I've done so far. And when I honor that and I take the time, it kind of detaches me a little bit from just like staring at the screen and waiting to click, buy or sell. And I'm like respecting like, the bigger picture and my skill set, and, carefully like writing down what exactly I'm seeing. And then it's evidence like of what's actually happening, versus when I've gone into like where I'm either impulsive or I'm impatient, then I'm not prioritizing that. And I'm usually like, there's big chunks of spaces that I was not checking in on my live notes, and then usually play myself.
Things happened.
I think another big thing is looking at your thoughts, meaning like the market is coming up to a level. It's not at your level yet. You've already shaded off the area. Your thought process is, oh my God, it's turning red, it's rejecting, let me get into the trade. It's not at your level. So, right? It's not there yet. So I think the big thing there is the language that you use when you're trading. Trading is really a way of thinking. If you see the market behave in a certain way, my language is, let me see what happens here.
Mm-hmm.
Two things could happen. It could do this or that. Which one? Okay? As opposed to, I knew it was going to reject right here. I knew it was going to hold a support. Well, we don't know anything. We don't know anything until the market confirms that through the language that it uses, which is candlesticks.
Yes.
Right? So I think that the way we talk, and even when I'm talking to members, I really pick up on these things and say, hold on, you didn't know. You did not know. There's no way you knew. And, right? I mean, we read context every day, right, Becky? And we have levels that the market could approach. Could approach. Even when it's so sure, like, we're before the market opens, all of us, we're going to buy. We know we're already going to buy, right? But let me see what happens here first before I buy.
Which is so powerful, because you really have been encouraging that lately, especially, and it shifts the whole mindset, like you said, because instead of being expectant and like really just wanting to not miss it, instead you're more curious and patient and like letting the candle form at your level and then seeing how it closed, like what exact levels it respected or it was questionable at, and then you make your choice instead of the angst with it. And it's so much more peaceful and patient, and it actually pays you better.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No greater feeling than when you're patient, you get in the right time, the risk is right. I mean, there's no better feeling than that.
Plus the patience, often your trade will to happen faster, which I'm learning through experience by being more patient and waiting for it to set up. Then it actually gets closer to the actual pop, and I have to weather less, draw down and chop while everyone else is getting in. That patience that you're strongly encouraging me to improve with, is helping me not have to wait as long for my trades, which I love, because then it's closer to when the move really happens, and I have more confluences in place before I put my capital behind the trade. So I love that advice so much.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
agree.
Yeah. And I feel like the less patient you are and allow yourself to get chopped up or impulsive or take crop entries, then like your confidence in that trade almost starts to decline because you're experiencing losses when you're just not waiting for the right time. So it's really like, yeah, it's a lot to
You
manage.
have to grow into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they have psychology issues around trading, but they don't. I'm not saying psychology is not an important thing. We know that, but we first have to develop that competence, that expertise in trading, and then psychology can play its role. How can you have a bad system, you don't even know what you're doing? You think you're going to have the best psychology with that? Because confidence is huge when it comes to psychology. I've never seen somebody who's psychology healthy or psychologically healthy or fit have poor confidence. I've never seen it. If you know someone, I'd like to meet him, right? Yeah, confidence.
And I think confidence comes from the work, right? Like, like you said, if you have a system and a process and you back tested it hundreds of times and you've seen that the probabilities will end you in a net green in account, like that creates confidence just by the work of it. It's like being a nurse, as an example. Like when you're a nurse for 3 years, you're just going to be faster, quicker, understand things better, have better time management. Same thing with trading. When you've back tested or traded 100 days, you will have naturally more confidence because you will just have that experience. And so that does, like, it just naturally improves your psychology by the work building you up.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I record myself and I'm trading, right? If you notice, like I'll walk you guys through every candle before it gets to the level. Like I'm expecting, even on a pullback, I'm expecting it to do the pullback, and I'm explaining why it should pull back, when it pulls back, what I want to see, what I don't want to see. That didn't come from like good psychology. It came from hard work, being depressed, being stressed out, just to understand that. And then psychology will take its role. It will play its role because now you have the confidence and the competence to do whatever you want to do, and you understand the market.
So good.
Right. And I think it also circles back around to what you initially, your point was of having a process, following your system, because the more you show yourself daily and day in, day out that you're going to do that, you'll trust yourself. Then you could really have confidence because you're not questioning if you're going to be able to align your actions with your behavior at any given day. So I think for me, that's been a big confidence builder, is being able to have that awareness and have that ability to respect the game we're in, respect the system, respect risk. Not only, how much risk I'm putting on, but accepting that I need to put on risk. I need to be okay with putting on risk. Like I can't have a scarcity mindset and be a trader. Like those two, like they just don't, that's water and oil. So, so confidence is major.
You have to be very mindful of who sits around your trading desk every day, because the market is still the same. I promise you, if we were to backtest 100 days, you see a very similar pattern. Maybe slightly different, but it's the same thing. But in those 100 days, you might see it differently because it's not you. You're not being consistent with who you bring to the table every day because your process is lacking, right? You have things to do to calm your mind, to quiet your mind. And if you don't do that, you're bringing a random person every day. How are you going to get, consistent results by bringing, today you show up as Tom, tomorrow you show up as John, tomorrow, you know what I mean? Like you're bringing different people to trade every day. How can you get consistent results?
Yeah, that's so true. So we created Market Moms obviously to represent the lady traders, and there's not a lot of us that we found, at least, content wise. And then it's also been a challenge for us to find, other women that want to, share their journey and be seen as Becky and I are doing. And we know there is some differences, between being a mama trader and a data trader. And what is your take on that? How do you feel like being a father and a trader affects you? What do you see where the differences like between men and women in this arena?
First of all, I think parenting is tougher than trading.
Agreed.
I think it's so much tougher because I'm the disciplinarian in my family, and that comes with me being strong and hold certain standards and and values up every day. And being very honest, there's a lot of ego involved in that. Okay, and ego is not good for trading because it's kind of my belief system that I'm imposing on my kids, right? So that alone is the ego, and that needs to be like a separate thing from trading, and that this is where my process will have to prevail every day because I can't bring that father to the desk because I'm not going to want to take profits. I'm going to be stubborn, not flexible, right? Because it should go here and the market.
You're in charge.
Yeah, yes, I can't be. I have to be flexible. I have to be like water and adjust to everything. So I think that it's difficult because I practice being present and all the other things outside of being a father. But when I'm a father, all that goes through the window. I have to impose my belief system on someone else as opposed to, just letting them do their thing. But they're not at that stage yet. So I think that's a struggle for me right now as a father trader.
That's a really good example of the different roles that we play and how we have to approach them differently because your goal is different. Like when you're trading, the market is going to do what she's going to do, and you have to be calm and patient and read her signals and flow with her. But as a parent, you have to hold it down and make sure they're learning certain lessons that are non-negotiable for the phase of life that they're in. And so I never thought about it until this moment, but that's really a completely different approach to a very important love of your life.
Absolutely. I don't remember. I don't have arguments. I don't entertain like conflict with anyone, and not even my wife. I don't go back and forth with her. But my kids, I have to do that, right? I have to do that with my kids. Don't do this. Do that, right? So it's like if I don't have a process to calm me down and to get me into that mindset, I would be no good at trading.
So smart. We have multiple women in our program, and I just have to give a shout out because I think we're amazing. I think all traders are amazing, but I think that there's almost like a mom guilt, and I don't know if dad has experienced this, but like it's impacted my trading this spring. Even like at market open is when my children are getting ready for school, and I feel a tear in my heart as to the priority at that time because I really enjoy and have a serious skill at market open. And that time right before school is precious in a child's like morning. And so I'm struggling through getting better at that balance and leaning into my husband for support there. Because I don't know, different time zones impact it differently. When market opens, your children are already gone at school, I believe, Jermaine. But it's like, I think that moms, and to an extent, I'm sure dads, but that mom guilt, the parent guilt is heavy. And it's like, I've had to frame it like I have this career because I want to elevate my whole family, extended family. I want to set up my children for a greater life and give them a bigger place to grow from as they age. But that means that right now I have to have some selfish time where I am studying and back testing and attending classes and trading. And so the balance is really hard. Do you experience some of that?
My kids don't come to me for emotional support because I'm the disciplinarian. Okay? I'm the one who keeps them in line with, again, the whole belief system of what a man should be and stuff. But luckily, I have a wife who does that for me. Now, yes, they do come to me for emotional support, but on things that not, like what they're going through with their peers and stuff like that. So, I'll handle that part of it. But in the morning, they're more leaning towards their mom in the morning.
I understand.
Yeah,
I do understand that with you, and I know it's hard. I was talking to this guy in Jamaica about 20-something years ago, and a very successful guy, and we were talking about me helping so many people while I was coming up, and he said, Jermaine, you have to understand that there's a huge part of success where you're going to have to be selfish. Okay? Mm-hmm. You're going to have to be selfish until you get to where you want to go. Not saying that you should be selfish with your kids, but have some grace. Have some kind of grace for yourself, right? Don't think that, hey, you know what? I'm just doing this to do this. I'm doing it for a bigger purpose. And find some grace in that, right? Don't be so hard on yourself. because at the end of the day, trading does wonders in your life. Okay, and you
Yeah.
know that. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I love that. That is like self-talk that I do, because it's like
Yeah.
I want it all, and so the trading right now, when it's hard and I'm still perfecting it all, like it will not improve without the effort there. So it is constantly like just a balance and giving myself grace. That is something I definitely need to remember. Kendra too.
I try to soothe myself with those exact thoughts, because it's like, what's the alternative? Like, I don't do this, and then
Right.
like, okay, I'm just here. I'm way more. Yeah, maybe I'm more present, but what am I gonna do? Like, make a better breakfast? Like, be all up in their nose and their hair? Like, they need to be independent anyways, and we need a better life. Like, we got things, we got goals. Like, I got places I'm trying to take them. I got all these like access. We need access to all this stuff. So I mean, it's just going to have to be what's going to be for these years, I mean, it's like, so yeah, the grace and just the grit, and then the just being unapologetic about it and taking the breaks. Like, I take weeks off and I don't trade and I pour into them. And so they know I love them, but I want to be a freaking trader. So
That's my girl.
So funny. I love that. I love the passion that came out on that one.
That is born from years of going through it every day and being like, you know what? I'm doing this for you guys. Make your own breakfast.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm doing it for me. Like, I'm doing it for me because I want to elevate myself, and that's only going to elevate them, So,
That's true.
yeah.
That's true. Total respect for that. Total respect.
Okay, so speaking of strong women, strong humans, our mutual friend and fellow trader Waji. So I was talking with her yesterday, and I mentioned you, and she had a really good question. So, Jermaine, do you plan on teaching your boys trading? Like, what's your thoughts on that? Do you want them to go to college first, or like consider other things first, or like if you had a child who you think might be a trader, how would you prepare them for that? Have you thought about it?
Oh man. Okay. So yes, and yes, it's kind of one of the belief that I strongly have in my household. Everyone in here needs to know how to trade, right? My kids will. If they don't want to go to college, it's up to them, okay? But they will have to learn how to trade, and I've already started with them. I've already evening time when I'm reviewing my trades, I'll go over the markets with them, and they understand that the green is for bulls and the red is for bears. And money. Let's talk about money first, because this is very important, right? I want to make sure that there is no lack for them whatsoever, because a lot of our limiting beliefs around money comes from a place of lack. Okay, so that's already rewiring their mind, and not rewiring, but wiring their mind to understand that money, it's just some digits on the screen. There's no real attachment to it, right? If they were experiencing lack, then I think it would mean more for them, more to them. So bringing that mindset into trading, whenever they're going to get a loss, like the other day, I had a losing day, and one of them said, "Dad, oh my God, that's red," and I said, "Yeah, but it's nothing." He said, "What do you mean it's nothing?" I said, "It's just digits. It's just digits. It's nothing." And then the next day I was green, and I was like, "Take a look at this. It's nothing." Okay? So he was like, "Okay, so you're saying money is nothing?" I'm saying it's something, but just understand that it's good to lose. It's very good to lose, because you learn a lot more from your losers than if you were to win every day. So he was like, "Okay, I do understand that." So I'm trying to bring that mindset, that relationship with money, okay? And I give them their own money. They have their own debit card, whatever it is. I'm trying not to have them get too attached to money from this age. I don't want them attached to it. I want them to understand that it's a tool, and that's all it is. Okay?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You're taking the opportunity to shape their mind in the way you wish yours was from a young age, instead of having, we as adults are rewiring ourselves to be better at all of this money and trading and adulting. But I think we have a unique opportunity as parents too, like you're doing with them, like talking about money, creating the right mindset to it from beginning, instead of having to have a rewiring phase later.
Yes, and what I do is I also tell him the amount of time it took while I was in the trade. Okay? Because I'm trying to show him that it's not like I'm sitting here all day trading to make this money. I did this in like 15 minutes, 30 minutes. And he's like, wow, you know? So it's very important that I tell him the time it took to get this money, and not me sitting around here every day thinking that, oh, dad sat a whole day here just to get this. No, this happened in 30 minutes, sometimes even 10, sometimes even 5 minutes, right? So it's very important for them right now, and I can see that they're grasping onto it. They did ask me, so Dad, when am I going to trade? I said, grow some more, take these lessons that I'm giving you, and yeah, they will be traders.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is so exciting. I love that you're teaching them that, and that, you know, it's money flows in and flows out, and that taking out our attachment to it, that lack, that scarcity, that's been a big one for a lot of us adults. So it's great not to put that shit onto our kids, for sure. So that's probably, it sounds like one of your macro goals. What else do you have, you know, for your future? Do you plan to be a trader the rest of your life? Can you tell us more about steps ahead for your personal journey, if you'll share with us?
Ooh. Okay, so I feel like, you know, I just got back from Jamaica, and I have siblings, and I'm looking at them, and I felt like I wasted so much of my life. They're so young. They've acquired a lot already, the ambitious ones. And I'm thinking to myself, my God, I wasted almost a decade or two in my life. So now my goals right now is just to create that legacy, not just in this country, but in my country as well. Okay, so that's ahead of any clothes, jewelry, fancy cars, supercars. That's ahead of everything right now. The only thing that's on my mind is, you know, expanding in real estate right now, buying land, making sure that the family is all right. Okay, because I have a big family, and that's always been my priority, really. I don't really think about myself too much about, you know, living a certain kind of lifestyle, or, you know, for social media or anything. I think what's more important is that my family is okay. That means more to me than anything. And the legacy that I'm doing, I want to be alive to transfer that wealth to my family.
That's so powerful, because that's like a sign of such maturity and longevity in terms of what you're going to create for your family. Instead of the flashy things in the now, it's like, how can I start to diversify and grow and create a stronger base for it to only continue to compound higher and feed all of the people that you love for many, many, many more years like that. I think Kendra and I both, like, that's our goal as well, is to really broaden and take our time and get really good so that we can really just let it grow and do similar.
Yeah, I think if I was maybe about 25 being a trader, I think my mindset would have been different. So I think it's a time that I've really been introduced to trading. But, you know, I came into trading in my 30s, and it's just a mindset of, maybe if I was born in this country, maybe too if I was born and raised in America. But, you know, where I'm from, you have to look back. You have to look back to your family and help. You know, like, that's where I'm from. You know, like, you're your family's retirement kind of thing, right? So that's just where I'm from. So that's always been my mindset. And yeah, I give thanks for that, because, you know, I wouldn't want to be wasting away in nightclubs and all of that right now. Yeah, I give thanks for this mindset that I have.
I think that's a whole life approach, like what you just said. And then at the very beginning of this episode, you talked about going into mentoring as a way of giving back and expanding and helping others up, because you have so much that you're so grateful for. Now is your opportunity to kind of pay it forward, sort of. And that sort of like giving back causes more momentum in our life, more good karma and energy, and a positive vibration of your body and yourself, so that you can expand more, because you're pouring out and helping others too. Like, there's a whole energy to that is really powerful. When you take care of your family with what you're doing and you help others grow, it only makes you stronger, wouldn't you say?
I would think so. And it gives you a bigger why. It gives you a bigger why. Because most of us, on the surface, okay, we want to make money in trading. We want to do this. We want to do that. But is that really your why? Most of us, we don't dig deep enough to understand that, right? So I don't think your why should be based on you or luxury or vanity, right? I think your why should be based on your contribution to humanity, right? And that gives you a bigger purpose.
It's beautiful. So this episode is going to air the day before Father's Day. So we just want to take a minute and say, like, Kendra and our mamas, obviously, but like, cheers to all the dadas out there. And like, it takes really two parents, whatever you got, but like, parenting is hard, and dadas are amazing. And we're very grateful for all the fathers in our lives, friends, family, husbands. And so cheers to being a wonderful dada and trader and our good friend, Jermaine. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so
all
much.
the market data, shout out to you all, and holding it down and being amazing fathers and playing that crucial, critical role in your children's lives. It's so very important, and we're here for all of it and celebrating everyone always. And our best trading days are most definitely ahead. Jermaine, thank you for blessing us again with your amazing experience and all your wisdom and your tips, and sharing a little personal stuff about you as well. We hope that you'll continue to be a regular on our show with us, and thanks for supporting always our episodes, and we love your comments and just hearing from you always.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kendra. Thank you so much, Becky. All right, let's have a great year.
Yeah,
everyone, take
Thanks
care.
to that.
Yes.
Take care.
Bye.